have a common question like I always get from international students, getting confused about and the common debate about how many pages of resume you should be having. So when you applied for co-op, what approach you chose, how many pages of resume you made, and what was the key points you used there?
So it was quite a hard learning for me. I was like making resumes for like what 3 pages, like including everything that I've done since the time, and that was not very effective and intelligent on my part. And that's something the career center again corrected me as to, like, you need to make it as short as, as brief as you can, because I think you two would know better. In HR, no one takes a look at a resume for more than like what 5 seconds. So it's very important that you have those, a summary on the very top where it, where it highlights your skills, and it's easier for the HR to look at. Okay, these are the skills that align with the job. For example, if I'm applying for a accounting job, there's no point of me putting in my retail highlighted skills. So it wouldn't make sense for the recruiter to go forward with my application. So it's very important that you boil those skills down to something that is in line with the job you're applying for. And then you don't have to if you have lots of work experience, which in my case wasn't too much, you can maybe go to like 2 pages. But I would say for me, 1 page always worked. Like, I never, even if I had to cut off a job experience that was, for example, I had been an IELTS teacher, and I had been in retail, and then I had this accounting job. But I started taking out my retail or my IELTS teacher experience because that didn't align too much with the accounting jobs that I was applying to. So it's very important that you have that relevant experience, and if you want to take out those extra 2 pages, you can, and then just stick to 1 page. That is one approach, especially for resumes, that worked really well for me.
Yeah, short, precise,
Yeah.
up to the job duties and responsibilities, what is
Yes.
asked. Yes,
And
exactly.
then those keywords as well. So I read somewhere, sorry, I forgot to mention. So there's this, uh, you can have those bullet points in a way that's easier to read. If I just say that I helped you, I made this Excel sheet that helped increasing the efficiency, no one would know how much it actually helped. I can just write it. But if I just write, I made this Excel sheet for like 200 people, and it was a salary working sheet, and it helped increase the efficiency by like 60%. So it explains a lot more as to how much, what you did, what was the impact of it. So it's very important to have that result and what you did in as short of time, in like as much less space as you can.
Yeah, it's a lot of data insights. The more data insights you put in your resume, like the percentage or the portfolio you made and how much time it took you to do that, I think those all things actually helps a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I think for me and for Subin, like we have learned that from Amazon, I think.
Yeah.
That comes to us for the data building and learning, like putting the data analytics on the front, and it's a good approach. So I think that's pretty much like can we make as a precise resume, like a small, short, but then precise. Thank you for sharing that. And I also have a question because you're talking about resume. So, did you also use your cover letter to get this job, like as a co-op? And if you could share your tips and insights on crafting a successful cover letter.
So a cover letter, I feel, are very, very important when it comes to accounting. So resumes just tell you why you are suitable, why you might be suitable for the job, but cover letters actually, solidifies your interest as to why are you applying and for this role, and why are you applying for this firm. And uh, so there could be a couple of ways to get through that cover letter. A lot of people choose this easier way of having this fixed cover letter that I would never recommend. they just have this. I feel you can have a general resume, but that doesn't require a lot more alterations. But a cover letter needs to be very specific to a company, and you cannot use a journalized chat GPT version for a cover letter. You need to have, you need to put that personal touch in it, so whoever's reading it does feel okay, this is something, I would like to work with this person, not just like a very journalized version. Some things that did work for me, what I would used to do is I did use AI for sure. It does help you, but only to a certain extent. So what I used to do is I used to have this one. I used to write the whole cover letter by myself, like explaining everything, and then I used to ask ChatGPT to give me some pointers as to where I can improve, and and something that I might have missed. So that is something that really helped me uh, make my cover letter better. But I feel another thing that really for cover letter, especially for accounting, I feel uh, you need a lot more networking within the industry with the people, especially if you're applying for one firm, you need to network with people of those firms. So, and if you have networked well enough, you can just mention the names of the people that you have networked with. Like, these are the people that I met, and this is what aligned when I was talking to with them, and that's why I feel the firm would be a good choice for me. It's something like that really helps you stand out from other bunch of people who are applying, who are using those journalized cover letters or everything.
Wow, that's really a great point you suggested here. I never thought like that actually. Like using the names, and also like sometimes even we attend their networking events, right? Like with that company, and company has sponsored, and then if we include those things, it makes them feel like, yes, how interested we are in their company, and we
Yeah.
have also done our homework. We are coming from from that space where we have attended their programs and their events and all of that. It's really a great approach. Thank you for sharing that. Over to you, Stephen.
Yeah, there are still organizations which rely on the manager to rely on cover letters, and
Yeah.
it's a mandatory thing.
Yeah.
Going forward, in terms of the salary, when you were offered the position of co-op, what was the approach, and in case there were any negotiations within that?
Hmm. Uh, so I had so this was and when was it? Like maybe a year and a half ago when I was interviewing. So I feel I'll share an interesting story. That was like maybe saving for something, but I'll just share it right now. So I started applying for my co-ops in May. It was like there are two major intakes. It's like spring intake and the fall intake. So I was applying for the spring recruit, and I didn't know anything. I didn't network with any of the big firms, the mid-sized firms, and I just started applying. And I didn't get an interview call from any of the firms that I was actually hoping to get into. But I didn't get any interview calls from very comparatively very smaller firms that were just giving me a co-op for what an accounts payable. I feel that's something that I've already done and didn't want to repeat. But I still, even having that experience back at home, I still didn't get the interview, letting alone the co-op itself. So for me, I didn't get any interviews throughout the whole spring recruit, and I was very, very dejected. And but then when I started for fall recruit, the first couple of interviews that I received were like from big fours like PwC and KPMG, and that really boosted my confidence. And the major part that helped me was going through some of the networking events that these firms were hosting, and just having to attend those events, showing your willingness to you know stand out from the crowd, make an extra effort. But and then when I actually applied, I did get a lot of rejections after the interviews. It's not like I got all of them. And so what I feel while I was applying them, usually I've heard people working for co-ops or working for having that experience in field. They are doing internships that are just they don't pay you for your internship, but and money was never a very big factor for me going into a co-op or internship. It was always getting that Canadian experience, getting that learning first. And then Baker Tilly itself was one of the first firms to extend an offer to me. And when I was talking, I was they were so kind. It was only meant to be one term of co-op through busy season, but I just asked them, would it be possible if I can do another term and maybe get some more experience outside of busy season, so I know how it looks like. And they were very accommodating, and instead of giving me one term of co-op, they extended my contract to 8 months. So I didn't even bother about negotiating. I was like, this is something that no other firm would actually go through and do that for me. I was like, nah, let's not negotiate. And like, I accepted as soon as that happened. So I feel for me, negotiation was not on the page, since I just wanted an opportunity to perform, to show that I am capable, and to have that experience in my profile.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. As you mentioned about being rejected and all, what kind of approach did you take at that time? Because I know you might not have applied to just single organization. You might have uh, put out your resume to many multiple organizations. And
Yeah.
how do you take that as a positive statement for you?
So, two things. So if you're getting rejected, so I felt that my resume is at least going through recruiters. Okay, I was like, okay,
Yes.
so
Okay.
I'm going through that. At least my resumes are reaching to them, and so I did get dejected for sure. I was like very disappointed in myself, like having so much experience. I have a year and a half experience as a bookkeeper. Like even after that, I'm not getting a single interview. How could that be? Like just and then I was like, let's just not focus too much on that. And then I went again to my career counselors in college. Like, what should I change? Like, I don't know. Like, I always used to, whenever I apply, I always used to go to one of my career counselors and like have them review my cover letters and resumes. Like, we did everything. I changed everything that you asked me to. Where did it go wrong? What can I improve so I can get those interviews at least? So we made a few tweaks in my resume. Like I used to have this long paragraph explaining as to why I suitable for the job, like with the skills. So instead of having that paragraph where it included all my skills, I just had bullet points. Okay, these are the skills, because I felt if someone's taking just 5 seconds, they definitely would not read over the paragraph, no matter how skilled I am, no matter how many transferable skills I possess. They probably might skip it. So why not have some bullet points that they can look over in the 5 seconds and like see, okay, yeah, we can go ahead with this one. So that's a change that I did. And like I feel like there's no point. Obviously you do feel disappointed when you're not getting but there's no point getting stuck on it, because there's always the next thing. And so I just focus on the next thing as to how can I improve and get better.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking forward. As you mentioned about networking, I just thought about asking you this. You went for the networking events, and so what did you do there? So basically, did you share your resume, or did you try to connect with those recruiters who were on field, even though you were not looking for a job, or maybe you were looking for? How did you try to connect with them, and did you take those connections with you through LinkedIn, and are you in touch? How does that work for you?
So the kind of, I would say that I would classify into like 3 types of networking events. So there's like one networking event that your colleges host, like industry specific networking events. They'll have these accounting fairs, they'll have this STEM fair, they'll have these tech fairs that the companies from those specific industries would show up. So there's that. And then there's this CPA BC specifically for accounting, that all major accounting firms will show up in those CPA BC networking events, because even firms are looking for talent, and they also need some avenues where they can explore future talent. And then thirdly, there are these firm specific networking events. So I'm I'm a very anti-social person. I'm a very introverted person, and I was probably the last person who would go out and ask someone, "How are you doing?" let alone anything else. Like I wouldn't even talk to my classmates that I don't know of. Like I'm that introverted. Not even if I need help with any assignment, never. But I realized that for me to, because this is the demand for the industry, that I need to show up, that I need to get out of my comfort zone. And I had to. Like there's no other. I just had to put myself out there. I was like, what's the worst could happen, right? What the worst could happen is the rejection, and it's okay. At least making an effort will make me feel good about myself and like help me sleep better at night, maybe. But at least I know that I would have tried, and the next time I do this, I'll be better at it. So I still remember the first networking event that I attended was with PwC. It's Big Four, so I was very scared. I was like, how am I going to talk to partners and like managers when I don't know anything? And I've been continuously getting rejected from these firms for the last, what, 6, 7 months. Like, I don't know anything. But the good thing about, again, I'll come to the Canadian culture, is that they're very welcoming. They don't make you feel like you are someone outside their firm. They make you feel welcome. They will approach you. And
Yeah.
even though when I was climbing the stairs for the networking events, literally my legs were shaking. I had no clue what to talk. I had not prepared anything. So I remember. So I used to work at PetSmart back then, and I remember that I was like, I'll just go for like 30 minutes, maybe show everybody my face, and then go back to us, because I have a shift scheduled afterwards. I was like, I'll just go to work and like let it all settle. And I actually enjoyed it so much that I called in sick. I was like, I'm not gonna come, I'm very busy. And I enjoyed talking to people from my industry, learning how they got through the same phase. Because in order, my career counselor always used to say this: just remember, you're talking to people, they are people, and they have been through a very similar phase that you are right now. So just don't put a tag like this is so and so a partner. It's just a person that you're talking to. Get to know them, make a good connection, and that's how you make connections, when you're putting yourself out there as a person. And then the person would connect you, and the other person would connect you at a level of being a human being first. Like, because I'm definitely not gonna connect him with being a partner, there's no way. But I can definitely connect with him with similar hobbies. Like I enjoy hiking so much that I and then I enjoy kickboxing so much. So I had this networking event where we just like talked about kickboxing for like 30 minutes. So I feel if you put yourself out there, put your interests out there, people do connect with you. And then I have got in touch with so many people, and even with Baker Tilly, the people that I used to play table tennis with, they're still in my contact, so I can just call them up whenever I need some advice. And the assistant managers, they're like senior accountants, and I can still call them up. And yeah, that I actually, when you put yourself out there as a human being, it actually helps you connect to people, and that is what really helped me through those uh, gruesome networking events that weren't so gruesome.
Yeah, I think this is a great insight for everyone
Yeah.
to go out and share your interest and have a talking point and just get in touch with everyone. Over to Ayushi.
Thanks, Subin. So Pranav, I know like you have been like in this space for I think 8 months in co-op, and then after that you did your you completed your graduation, right? Like the from
I'm
development.
still
I
in my
think
last semester.
you're still in your last semester. Wow. And then you also got a job. So
Yeah.
yeah, so do you really think that there was an advantage of doing a co-op with such a reputed firm and then coming out, especially when it comes to building your career? So do you really think like if you would have not gotten this opportunity working in co-op, and then do you really think you would be here like where you are right now?
100%. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the opportunity that I was presented. And like I was a co-panelist with people that had so much years of experience over what I had, and this is all because I got this opportunity. And I don't know, I'm very very grateful for the all people involved throughout the process who helped
Yeah.
me, either all my mentors and all my buddies that helped me de-stress. But I feel like the the position that I am right now is a lot. I give a lot more. It's a lot credit due to Baker Tilly giving me that co-op opportunity. And yeah, it just and then it also helped me reinstate my confidence into my own capabilities, as to this is something that I like, and this is something that I can continue doing for a couple more years, and who knows, maybe become a partner in an accounting firm. So having that opportunity really helped me instate my confidence in my abilities. So I feel yeah, it really plays a huge role in building your career ahead of yourselves. But I would also like to say that I know a lot of people that I joined the firm with who have never even thought about doing a co-op. They also succeed in their life. So it's like it's not the end of the world. If I didn't get the co-op, I know that with much more resilience and efforts, I would have gotten somewhere, and have had made something in accounting. But yeah, definitely credit for Baker Tilly for giving me that opportunity.